In very recent memory, several Cowboys have stepped up to either save, inspire, or salvage a season at wide receiver. This year, likely be no different. So, we've got to talk about some dudes at wide receiver too, here at Wide Receiver U.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by to make this your first listen. We're available on all of your podcasting platforms, visually as well on YouTube. Find me personally on X at AllDayOState. Today, we're partially brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment matter more. As playoffs wind down and summer heats up, FanDuel's hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. There's something in this for everyone, every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started today. Meanwhile, we get started in the conversation of wide receiver. For those of you who can have some sort of argument at wide receiver, you feel good, raise your hand and stand up. Oklahoma State is in that company, although that's going to ruffle some feathers, I'm sure, around the country. But realistically speaking, there's not a lot that says that Oklahoma State should not be up there with the Alabamas, the Ohio States of the world in producing wide receivers. I mean, heck, if you look at the NFL right now, there's several Cowboys that played wide receiver last year and have opportunities to make rosters this year, including the most recent dude to step up halfway through the season to make something of an Arlington run in Leon Johnson III. So we knew Leon had to step up last year. But guys, there's been times where Talon Shetron has needed to step up. There's been times when Rashad Owens has been needed to step up. So let's take a peek at some of the Cowboys this season outside of the mainstay, the dudes that everybody in the country is already pretty aware of. And let's get used to some of the guys that we could be relying on this season to help. Everybody is going to talk about Dejon Stribling, as they should. But whenever you look at the guys outside of him and Rashad Owens and Brennan Presley, I mean, Talon Shetron is kind of exempt from this new age group, but not really, because he hasn't really got the full-on time to shine. He's had opportunities. He's made the most of opportunities when he has gotten in the game, but he's battled so many injuries, we haven't really got to see him come out of his full shell yet. We've talked often about the Virginia Tech transfer of DeJuan Lofton. DeJuan Lofton is doing the Arlen Bruce packaging that we were anticipating last season. So, of course, that's amazing. You guys need to go check out the episode we did on Io Shotamite King, the 6'4", 215-pounder out of Chula Vista, California, and Snow College. Thank you, Benny Tonga, for dominating that area and allowing us another inroad for somebody like this. Is the freshman Trey Griffiths at 6'3", 204 pounds going to have the opportunity to kind of do some stuff this year? Is return specialist and slot receiver Gavin Freeman, rocking number 17, coming over from OU? Is he going to be utilized in just the return game, or is he going to be utilized in the wide receiver game as well? Is he wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5? Who knows? Is Jalen Pope, number 23, still developing to where he can be a very valuable asset? Because, this time last year, he definitely was. Kyler Pearson is a dude from KU that we've talked about a couple different times. He was able to shine in the spring by being involved in different packages, including playing running back. So we understand that the versatility that he brings to the fold is going to be pretty fun to watch this season. Guys, Cameron Hurd, he's sticking with number 81, and he's been a guy that has just kind of been scratching the surface of taking that next step. I think you could potentially put him in the same classification as a Talon Shetron, somebody who we've seen do some stuff here and there, but we're waiting on that next step. Another one of those is going to be Cale Cabanis. From what we've seen out of Cale Cabanis early on this season, he's not just going to be a physical body on the field. He's legitimately going to be somebody that can chip in and help out. I've been waiting on Mason Gilkey to be somebody that can chip in and help out the Pahuska, Oklahoma, orange and black native. Can this be the year that he finds something? Guys, when we had Rashad Woods on the show, we talked about Tyke Andrews, and he talked about how pure of a route runner he could be and how good he was at getting separation, that Oklahoma State's getting a kid from Enid, coached by Rashawn, that is going to be more ready than most to take on the responsibilities of being a wide receiver 2 in Stillwater. There's a new cat from Perkins, Oklahoma, Cutter Green, that I think everybody should be excited about for the future. Because when you look at his highlights, there's a reason why he didn't get a lot of passes, but the passes he did get, he made crazy catches. And that's because Perkins wasn't necessarily known for throwing the ball a lot. And when they did throw the ball, let's just say that, it left some stuff to be desired. So out of all the guys that we have discussed, right, you've also got a couple new guys like Marcus Dawkins from Moore, Oklahoma, another OU transfer that should be able to chip in somewhere here. We've got a Stillwater High School dude and Heston Thompson with a brother on the squad. Is he going to be able to kind of chime in here by the end of the season with Ty Walls and Brandon Bays and Jackson Deason? You guys let me know down in the comments section. Out of all these dudes, who do you think would likely be the dude to stand out the most this season? Well, I'm going to err on the side of the slot receivers because I do anticipate us throwing the ball significantly more than last year. I expect us to utilize 4 wide and even to some degree 5 wide scenarios here and there. We know DeJuan Lofton is already an integral part. We know Gavin Freeman is trying to carve out an additional role. We know Kyler Pearson was the gadget, trick guy in the spring. But just like I was a big fan of Leon Johnson III, I think Io Shotamide King should be somebody that we all pay attention to this season outside of the slot guys. So if I'm putting money down, I'm putting money down on the slot guys. But outside of that, guys, I think Shotamide King, not just because of the frame, not just because he's kind of like a Leon Johnson clone, not simply because of that, but realistically, we need a 50-50 guy. Not that Rashad Owens can't go be a 50-50 ball guy. I know Trey Griffiths can do that. If you've seen his highlight film in high school, it's kind of what he's bringing to the fold. DeJon Stribling can get up and do it as well. But this, to me, is that guy that you can put in on the red zone right next to a tight end, and he's a matchup nightmare for whomever is on the opposing side of the field. So if it's not going to be the slot guys, right, DeJuan Lofton, of course, Gavin Freeman, Cameron Hurd should be somebody because of his versatility that maybe it's not just, him at slot. Maybe it's him more at the X, right? But having a guy like a Tay Martin, like a Leon Johnson III, that can go up and get the ball and change the game just off of his physical presence, to me, that is Io Shotamide King alongside DeJuan Lofton, Gavin Freeman. And I'm still not out on seeing what Kyler Pearson can do live on the field. Pretty excited for it. Just like I'm also pretty daggone excited for what we have going with Sean Snyder as the new special teams coordinator by way of K-State. But his job is not easy. It's not like he walked into a ready-made situation. Although we've got the weapon, he's also got his work cut out for him with some new dudes and a guy gone that we have to talk about real quick. But before we do that, I have to remind you all, you have to be the MVP, okay, today. And for you to be the MVP of anything, you got to have eBay Motors. With the right passion, drive, and patience, this is the right stop for you. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle, level it up to peak performance. So whether it's superchargers, roof racks, LED lighting kits, and more, speed, power, style, doesn't matter. eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts to choose from, it is very easy for you to keep your ride or die rig alive. And with the eBay Guaranteed Fit, the part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. eBay Motors, the objective is to have you burning rubber, not cash. Bring home the MVP today. Keep your ride or die rig alive at ebaymotors.com. Again, that's ebaymotors.com. Go there today. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available for U.S. customers. Sean Snyder is probably one of the funnest hires just because of, the fact that he goes back to the heyday of K-State, to the heyday when Charlie Dickey was doing some fun stuff in Manhattan. We've got several Cowboys that operate like some of the old school K-State dudes, and I think Sean Snyder is going to utilize that to his fullest advantage. The first thing I think he takes advantage of is the weapon, Hudson Card. The 6'2", 220-pound punter that runs a 4.6 40, athletically is able to do some things this season. I can't wait for it. I know you are pretty excited about it, but we're talking, touchdowns. He can throw the daggone ball. He's ambidextrous. He can kick from both sides. That athleticism is a weapon that Sean Snyder's likely never had. But on top of that, then we had Sam Babish come in to have a competition with Logan Ward for the place kicking duties and the extra points. Well, Sam Babish was appearing to be on his way to leading the candidacy to have that job, but he got a big time opportunity and he's gone. Logan Ward obviously now has to step up and do a little bit more, but if he can narrow down his misses instead of just being a big leg, the long ball guy, then maybe this changes the conversation. But now we have another kicker who has rolled in by way of Sean Snyder. This is somebody that he had been eyeing, I guess, while he was at KU, and somebody that he mentioned immediately after the Sam Babish situation that we need to go after this guy. Drake Tabor out of Alabama has one of the most decorated high school Alabama kickers in a long time. Originally from the Alabama area going to Samford. I've also seen some St. Thomas stuff. I've seen some articles or some people talk about him previously being in Auburn and Ottawa as well. I saw the Samford stuff. I saw the St. Thomas stuff. I didn't see the Auburn stuff. But regardless, the dude was considered a Coles 5-star kicker coming out of the same class as Bert Auburn, Cameron Little, and Andre Boralgis, right? It's somewhere in there. Tabor was not really a consideration for Oklahoma State until Sean Snyder. And now you get somebody in here that has a very, very decorated career, that has the ability to not only kick it through the uprights, but be very, athletic in doing so to some degree. He can make deep kicks. He's got a 42-yarder, 43-yarder, 37, 42 extra points coming out of high school. Coles had him as one of the top kickers in the country. There was another kicker competition that had him ranked number 14 in America. So Sam Babish leaving. Congrats on the job. But I think this is good for Logan Ward. I think the competition was good for Logan Ward. And this is just another tool that we have at our disposal for Sean Snyder. Now, even Holder, guys, we got very, very spoiled, right, with Matt Hembrow being one of the best, if not the best holder in the country. And then Zeke Saragoza, that whole story. And now you've got Shea Frybaum coming in, Frybaum this year. How is he, going to be with the punters and the kicking in the situation? I think most of us feel pretty good where we sit with Shea. And just like most of us sit pretty good with where we sit with Hudson. And having the long ball specialist in Logan Ward is a good thing. But it will be fun to see how this new competition shakes out. The Sam Babish versus Logan Ward competition has now morphed into this new competition. And I do think that, at the end of the day, this is going to be good for everybody involved. And it's nice to see somebody get another opportunity. So Drake Tabor, welcome in to being a Cowboy. We look to ride the wave of momentum this season all the way to Arlington and the CFP. Can't wait to see you be a part of it. But I think we all have a lot of faith in anything deep with Logan Ward. It's the intermediary stuff that we got to pay attention to. Maybe Drake is the guy that can kind of help solidify that area for us. Another thing to pay attention to is going to be in the return game. Is it going to be Brennan Presley? Well, we've seen some clips recently of DeJuan Lofton and Gavin Freeman doing a lot of the return man stuff as well, alongside Kyler Pearson. So if there's ever an opportunity to get Brennan Presley more on the field as a wide receiver and take some of the risk away from him being a return man, I don't know that that's, going to happen. But it's nice to know that we've got some other guys that are in a competition there to give Brennan Presley a little bit of a rest. And Dawan Lofton, Kyler Pearson, both have done this at previous stops. So there's nobody in the building that doesn't think or see that they can't do it right now. There's so much going on at Cowboy football, and the roster additions are going to be big time. It's good to kind of break down some of these dudes who can end up being wide receiver too, or even to some degree punter, because Westfall is the big boot and Hudson Clark is more of the sniper, right? So we can utilize the same thing that we have in the kicking game or the punting department in the kicking game. You can have a long ball guy and you can have an intermediary guy, I guess. Obviously, it's not ideal, but the days of having somebody that could do everything, i.e. Quinn Sharp, we just don't have that right now. But we do have a massive weapon in Hudson, and we have one of the greatest special teams coordinators in the college game right now in Sean Snyder, to go alongside Charlie Dickey and some of this, kind of K-State connection. Mike Gundy's always fancied himself as a Bill Snyder disciple style of guy. I know he didn't come from the Snyder tree, but I mean, you get what I mean. So it makes sense that some of these K-State coaches naturally gravitate towards Mike Gundy. I think what Chris Kleiman has going up at K-State is pretty remarkable, just like what Lance Leipold has going on in Jayhawk country is awesome. Sean Snyder should be able to take this group of special teams guys and make this season even bigger. I'm expecting some fakes, right? I'm expecting us to take some risks, to be a little bit more gamble oriented, because there's going to be times where it's a necessity. Now, there's going to be times that we don't need to get all crazy and cute, and I hope we don't do that, but there's a time and a place for everything, just like there's going to be a time and a place for that as well. Just like there's a time and a place for OSU Max and you to have that kind of relationship. But before you have that relationship, make sure you get your dollar bills right today with FanDuel. This summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus every day. So there's something in this for everyone every day all summer long. As the playoffs wind down and the summer heats up, the sports aren't giving us everything that we're used to them giving during like football season, which is why FanDuel is doing this massive hookup booster bonus for all y'all. Head on over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer today. Again, head on over to FanDuel.com, because FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. And as it pertains to the Cowboys, whether the over and under is at 7.5, 8.5, you know what we're still going to do? We're still going to hammer the over. Go do it. Go hammer the over. Another thing that we could potentially all take some enjoyment in is the fact that OSU Max is a service that you do, in fact, have to pay for. And, I'm not the biggest fan of paying for information that is otherwise fairly easily obtainable. But OSU Max, I think, is a little bit different. And right now they're offering a package, and they've given their kind of recent lineup. One of the biggest things that caught my eye is the 25 years of Dave Hunziker. So the fall content lineup that's come out. I remember in the very beginning, all right, I was young enough that I only knew Dean Blevins. That's all I knew. And I remember the very first time I heard pistols firing, just the high-pitchedness of it and the fact that it wasn't what I was accustomed to, even as a little kid, right? I pretended that I didn't like this new guy. Well, how funny is it that 20 years later, his pistols firing and his Goodnight Viennas are some of the most iconic calls in Oklahoma State history. So it is going to be pretty fun. I cannot wait to watch that 4-part series of his life, in the booth and becoming a Cowboy and how that all transpired. Because when you think about it, that probably was not an easy thing for him to walk into, replacing a legend. They've also got some stuff in the film room. They've got the ride season 2 to kind of go behind the scenes at some of the buildup of this 2024 season. So make sure that you guys, if you don't already have OSU Max, go check out some of the lineup and see if it's something that you could get interested in, because right now they're doing a 24% off an annual membership. So make sure you go check that out. I don't often, promote Oklahoma State media stuff that, I don't always see as a necessity, but OSU Max, I think, is pretty phenomenal. And while we're giving out flowers, we got some more flowers to give out. And guys, McLain is probably the best that I've seen in a while for 247 and covering Oklahoma State, right? He does a really good job at getting the stories from some of the guys coming up. And he also does a really good job of, I would say, understanding the lay of the land, understanding what some of us are kind of looking for as the season starts. So, McLain Baxley, you, dude, have been, I think, in the media game for Oklahoma State what we've been missing for a while. So I don't typically, tell people to go spend a bunch of money on subscriptions and all that other stuff. But if there's anybody that you should, it's OSU Max. And if there's any one individual that maybe is worth spending some of the extra money, it might be McLain Baxley. It's nice to see, some of the things that we've complained about over the years being put forth, and also not being super controlled, aka the RASID machines haven't seemingly, been able to corner him thus far. Keep it up, buddy. That's what heroes do. And you keep doing your thing. And all of you out there, it's Orange Friday. Get fired up, feel good, and know that after tomorrow, there's only a few Saturdays left before we get to kick off this college football season and what should be a CFP dream for Oklahoma State country. All righty, y'all. That's all we're going to have for this one right here. As always, I love you. God bless. Go Pokes. And thank you for tuning in to make this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. Like it if you like the daggone thing. Dislike it if you don't, because that's okay too. More importantly, share, comment, and subscribe. My podcast and folks out there, drive safe. Do what you do. Hit the stars. Leave a review. All righty, y'all. I'm out this popsicle stand. Later, taters.